What's going on, Street Squad? Happy Tuesday to you. Man, we're getting one day closer to Easter, and hopefully you guys are planning on attending church for this Easter or getting family together, but I think it's important that we still remember the reason why we celebrate Easter. So I thought we'd go into the Gospel of Luke and go over what Luke had to say, what Luke's version of what was going on as they were arresting him. And I think it's the story that I want to talk about today in this week's Bible breakdown is when Peter, swore up and down that he would never stoop so low as in denying Christ. And then what happens when Jesus gets arrested? Let's find out. So I'm going to go to Luke chapter 22, verse 54. So they arrested him and led him to the high priest's home, and Peter followed at a distance. The guards lit a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat around it, and Peter joined them there. A servant girl noticed him in the firelight and began staring at him. Finally, she said, "This man was one of Jesus' followers." But Peter denied it. "Woman," he said, "I don't even know him." After a while, someone else looked at him and said, "You must be one of them." "No, man, I'm not," Peter retorted. About an hour later, someone else insisted, "This must be one of them because he is a Galilean too." But Peter said, "Man, I don't know what you are talking about." And immediately, while he was still speaking, a rooster crowed. At the moment the Lord turned and looked at Peter, suddenly the Lord's words flashed through Peter's mind. "Before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will deny 3 times that you even know me." And Peter left the courtyard weeping bitterly. The guards in charge of Jesus began mocking and beating him. They blindfolded him and said, "Prophesy to us. Who hit you that time?" And they hurled all sorts of terrible insults towards him. So as we think about what Peter said, it makes me think about in my own life, how many times to our Christian friends or our pastor or anybody like-minded as we are, have we said we would never deny Jesus? We would never say anything to persuade anybody any other way. Then how many of us have been in those situations where somebody might start picking on us or calling us Bible thumpers, or even just saying that, aren't you better than anybody? Where's your Jesus now? And we simply say, "I have no idea what you're talking about." No, I'm not one of those Christians. I'm not one of those weirdos. How many of us have been Peter? And I think this is an example. And how many of us have just felt horrible after doing that? I know I've probably been there. And I know you have maybe been there too. Though Peter believed he could not stoop so low, he denied Jesus completely. When the heat was on, Peter not only disappointed Jesus, he also disappointed himself. But even then, all was not lost. His experience led to genuine sorrow and repentance. Peter's threefold denial was followed by a threefold affirmation, and his restoration to full-fledged service. Later, Peter became the leading spokesman of the early church, powerfully proclaiming the message of the risen Christ. Only through complete forgiveness by God could Peter have so effectively recovered from the depths of despair. So we need to keep that in mind, that even though we might do things that would disappoint Jesus, we're never still too far gone. God's grace is so amazing that we can still be forgiven, even such heartbreaking things as disappointing Christ. And boy, do we disappoint Christ sometimes. So thank you for joining me this time, guys, on this Bible breakdown. I hope you guys are getting ready for Easter, and I hope you guys all have a safe and wonderful Easter. Remember, if you're going to talk about it, be about it. Until next time, I love you guys. Make sure to check us out on our podcast at Facebook or the Street Smart Christian #1 at YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, that like button. If you like what we're doing, share us with the world. Love you guys. Later.